Welcome into Philadelphia 76ers Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Chase Senior. I hope all of your weeks are going in grand fashion, and in advance, happy Thanksgiving to all of you. And because tonight is one of the biggest drinking nights of the year, cheers and get lit. Here's what we're diving into on today's show. Of course, it all revolves around Ben Simmons and the latest trade rumors hovering over him. According to Kyle Neubeck of Philadelphia Voice, does a good job covering the team. He came out with a report after the report that we discussed last week from Keith Pompey that had kind of indicated the Sixers' interest in Jerami Grant for a Ben Simmons trade. Neubeck had reported that Philly not interested in a trade centered in on Jerami Grant, who's really become a fascinating developmental story over the last couple of years, drafted by Philly and Sam Hinkie several years ago, got the bag 2 off seasons ago from the Detroit Pistons, done a great job in really growing his offensive arsenal. I wouldn't hate a trade for Jerami Grant. I would like a Ben Simmons trade for Cade Cunningham. I just don't think it's realistic at all. And according to Kyle Neubeck of Philly Voice, Cade Cunningham, the only player who could move the needle for Daryl Morey, Elton Brand, as well as Doc Rivers if they do send Ben Simmons packing. The Pistons, though, highly unlikely to trade Cade Cunningham for Ben Simmons or anybody else out there, because we're talking about a guy who went atop the 2021 NBA draft, and while he's been up and down to start his rookie season, he has a boatload of potential. When I look at this report, when I canvass some of the other trade rumors out there, why would Detroit ever trade Cade Cunningham, first of all, and why would you trade Cade Cunningham for the malcontent that is Ben Simmons? If I were to start my franchise tomorrow with one of the two players, I would go with Cade Cunningham. Now, I know Ben Simmons right now is more of a sure thing, but Cade has the more all-around game, and he missed the first couple of games of his rookie campaign after getting selected number 1 out of Oklahoma State. But I've been impressed with what I've seen from him, and I like the confidence that he possesses. You know who doesn't have confidence in himself or his offensive game? That is Ben Simmons, and he could never shoot the rock like what Cade Cunningham is doing this year, even though those field goal percentage numbers are down, as well as his three-point percentage being under 25%. You take a look at what Cade Cunningham is doing so far in his rookie campaign. When you look at the game log, he'll have a really good game followed by a porous game. Then he'll go back and rebound to having a really solid game, and it's really been somewhat of an up-and-down roller coaster season for Cade, but he's a rookie. He's young. He played 1 year of college ball at Oklahoma State, and so far in his rookie season, with a bad team, averaging 14-plus points per game, 6.5 rebounds, 4.5 assists, the field goal percentage certainly has to get higher, but as I mentioned, those numbers down because of the clunkers that he's turned in. But Kevin Durant saying the other day, I love Cade Cunningham's game. I think he can be a stud. And for me, going into the NBA draft on my top 100 big board, as we bring you the best NBA draft coverage here on Chat Sports, on our main Chat Sports YouTube channel, youtube.com/chatsportstv, I had Cade Cunningham as my number 1 prospect, edging guys like Jalen Green, Evan Mobley, Jalen Suggs, as well as Scotty Barnes. This is the scouting profile I put together on Cade Cunningham leading into the NBA draft. He's an offensive orchestrator, a lot like Ben Simmons, but I think he's more of a dangerous offensive player than Simmons is, because Cade can score at all 3 levels. He can create, he can pass, and because of his size, 6'8", with a lot of vision, he's very good on both ends of the floor, but I had kind of made some Ben Simmons comparisons for Cade coming out of Oklahoma State because of the combination of size, the combination of vision, and his defensive upside, because he's got this long wingspan where he can deflect a lot of passes. His game, in a lot of regards, does remind me of Simmons, but it's more complete on the offensive end of the deck. So I want to ask you this question, and I kind of voiced my opinions on it a little bit earlier. If you were to start your franchise with one of these pillars starting right now, as you're watching this video, who would you choose? Ben Simmons, Cade Cunningham, type BS for Big Baby Ben, type CC for Cade. Be sure to get those votes in the comment section down below. Here on 76ers Now by Chat Sports, we've been able to grow very, very quickly as the fastest growing 76ers News and Rumors channel right here on YouTube. But if you like our content on 76ers Now, I guarantee you're going to like our NBA general content on our main Chat Sports YouTube channel, youtube.com/chatsportstv. Subscribe right now because we're pushing out all of the latest NBA news and rumors all year long. We do a lot of NBA draft coverage. We go live for many hours every single day during NBA free agency. We like to drink, have fun, inform, and entertain. So if you like the NBA as a whole and you like what we do here on 76ers Now, subscribe to our main Chat Sports YouTube channel and help get us to 270,000 subscribers. Next up on today's show, an interesting talking point. Luke Walton has been fired by the Sacramento Kings. Alvin Gentry stepping in as the interim head coach. On our main Chat Sports YouTube channel, I had put together a list of my favorite candidates to take over for Luke Walton. And because he's out, a lot of people are having these discussions. Are the Sacramento Kings going to rebuild? Are they going to retool? Could they trade away the likes of a De'Aaron Fox or a Buddy Hield who have been involved in NBA trade rumors in the past? And could the Sixers look to trade for one of those aforementioned players if they do deal away Ben Simmons as they kind of retool themselves? So you take a look at some of the intriguing trade pieces on the Sacramento Kings right now. This is a roster that has a lot of talent, but the Sixers, without 4 starters the other night, able to go on the road in Sacramento and hand the Kings an L after a really nice fourth quarter comeback. And when I watched the Kings that night, I had said, look, through 3.5 quarters, they look pretty solid. They have a lot of talent on the roster. There's just no semblance. There's no continuity. There isn't a togetherness in which they play with. At the end of games, they play way too much one-on-one basketball and some hero basketball with De'Aaron Fox trying to get his and Buddy Hield just chucking up shots. But I do think that some of these players are intriguing trade pieces for Daryl Morey to look at to deal away Ben Simmons for. You're taking a look at Harrison Barnes. He's averaging almost 20 per night. De'Aaron Fox right up there with him. Buddy Hield, since he came into the league out of Oklahoma, one of the most efficient three-point shooters along the likes of Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. The other intriguing trade chips on this team, Rashawn Holmes, who re-signed with Sacramento in NBA free agency, Tyrese Halliburton, Davion Mitchell, who really made some headlines with Baylor last year en route to a national championship. Reminds me a lot of Kyle Lowry because of his tenaciousness on both ends as well as his shiftiness. So I think that some of these players could be had for Ben Simmons. But are the Kings fielding trade calls? According to Jake Fisher, not really. And maybe they won't rebuild. They are looking to just retool. Jake Fisher of Bleacher Report saying this, despite strong preseason chatter that a slow start in Sacramento could lead to a potential Ben Simmons trade with Philly, there remains no significant current discussion between the Sixers and Kings. Fox and Tyrese Halliburton are still deemed unavailable, and second-year standout Tyrese Maxey has emerged as a legitimate starting point guard in Philadelphia. It makes absolutely no sense, in my opinion, to trade away Tyrese Maxey because I think he can be better than De'Aaron Fox. I think he's already better than a Buddy Hield. He has come onto the scene and played very impressive basketball in year 2 in his sophomore campaign. Get out of here with any chatter of this being a sophomore slump. Tyrese Maxey has been hooping, and for me, he is untouchable in any trade. But for a player-for-player swap potentially happen, I think it could. If the Kings aren't fielding trade calls right now, maybe they will moving forward if they continue to struggle. And by watching them last night go down to a Sixers team without 4 starters, they could definitely look to sell. Make sure you subscribe to Philadelphia 76ers Now by Chat Sports. As we close the gap on 3,000 subscribers, nobody's doing what we're doing here at Chat Sports, where we're hitting you with informative, entertaining, and educational Sixers coverage. Anything that happens with this squad, we have you covered. Hit that red subscribe button down below. And oh yeah, in case you're watching this video for the first time or watching us for the first time, I'm a Philly cat. So support a fellow Philly Bull and subscribe to the channel.